Welcome to Football Forecast Weekly, the most popular football program in America, featuring Dennis Tobler and Fred Wallen.
Hello, football fans. I'm Dennis Tobler in Las Vegas, and this is Football Forecast Weekly, the longest handicapping football prediction show in the country. And this week, we're going to be taking a look at the NFL Week 3 in depth. But before we do that, I have a couple of comments and a couple of program notes and legal notes that I want to pass on to you. And then we'll be bringing on our guest star. First of all, I'd like to say that we are kind of the victims of the SAG-AFTRA strike because I'm a member of the Writers Guild in the West Coast, and I have 7 television patents, 2 movie patents, and belonging to the Writers Guild, I back them 100% in their strike. And as that goes, it may be coming to an end, but it will be weeks before we get back to normal. So next week, Football Forecast Weekly will be on hiatus so I can meet the obligations to the Writers Guild so we can upset these production companies and try to get our fair share of everything that's on the streaming platforms. So that being said, mark your calendars. October 12th, Football Forecast Weekly will be back. And before we leave the day show, Fred and I will each give you a pick for week number 5, so you won't be out anything. So stay tuned to Football Forecast Weekly. We apologize for the week hiatus. We will be back with the rest of the season afterward. And hopefully all the people in Hollywood, the actors, the writers, the people who own the products will be getting compensated now instead of it going to Disney and Amazon and some of these other outfits that really don't have a platform or do any production. They just work off everybody else's input and everybody else's content. So I'm very, very secure in my thoughts and feelings about this. And it's time in America where the workers stand up. I'm so glad to see President Biden in the UAW mess to fix that. And let's get back to reality here. These people can't be making 500 times more than everybody else. We're not going to be replaced by AI. And I want to go on and say one more thing. The Writers Guild is the TV market, is the movie market. People like me write these movies, write these TV shows. We need to be compensated for what we do. From now on, we will be. So with that being said, we'll take a short break. And when we get back, we will bring on our one and only sports guru of Sports Talk Radio, Mr. Fred Wallen. We'll be back in 1 minute. Hello, football fans. Dennis Tobler here with some great, exciting news for the 2024 season. You can watch Football Forecast Weekly on many outlets, from Astound TV Network to footballforecast.com, gamblingbroadcast.com, the Gambling Broadcast Network on YouTube, and many, many, many more stations. Also, I want to tell you that you can access the audio to Football Forecast Weekly on every podcast channel. So pick your favorite podcast channel and make sure you bookmark Football Forecast Weekly for every week. We're on Amazon Music or Apple Music, Amazon, all the way to Spotify and TuneIn. Every one of them carries Football Forecast Weekly. So if you want to win and you want to win big, stay tuned to Football Forecast Weekly each week right here on this station. Welcome back to Football Forecast Weekly, everyone. Dennis Tobler here in Las Vegas, and I want to bring onto the show my co-host and the sports guru of Sports Talk Radio, Mr. Fred Wallen. Fred, how you doing today, and how was your weekend last weekend? And before we go too far, we're each going to make a college comment.
First of all, I've been a member of SAG-AFTRA for 40 years, so I totally agree with your opening 100%. The Notre Dame game may have been the worst loss for the Irish in their history. With 1 second to go, the Buckeyes score. I was laughing. I didn't have a strong opinion anyway, but one way or the other. Except that I don't think Ohio State is as strong as people thought going into the season. But for the Irish fans there, you could just see their stomachs just, I don't know what, just if you're anti-Irish, you had to laugh. I was laughing anyways here in Southern California. As far as the NFL is concerned, it was one of the weirdest weeks, week 3 I've ever seen. one team, Miami, of course, scores 70 points. They could have scored 73 if they'd gone for the field goal, and that would have been the most in history. They gained 728 yards, all against Sean Payton's club. I'm sure he's going to blame one way or the other Russell Wilson for giving up 728 yards on the in the game. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to make a college comment first about the college, and then I'm going to go on. The Notre Dame game was fabulous because the leprechaun left the stadium, all right? I have watched football for 50, 60 years, and Notre Dame always wins those kind of games by hook or by crook. So by losing that game, I've never heard that stadium clam up like that. It was like it was a death knell for them for the season. And we'll see how they return. On the other college action, Deion Sanders, whatever, Coach Prime was Coach Unprime this week as he got undressed by the Oregon Ducks. And I wouldn't want to be a college team playing the Oregon Ducks. So that's one thing I'll say. And another thing I'll say is, too bad, Deion. Next week you have to play against USC, so you can expect the same battering you got this last weekend. Okay, so Colorado is back now where they ought to be. They sold a lot of commercials. They sold a lot of attire. They made a lot of money. But when they finish the season, we'll see if they have a winning record or not. Okay, that's my say on that. As far as the pro football goes, it's absolutely astoundingly crazy. Okay, there's 9,500 entrants into the Survivor contest for $8 million here in Las Vegas. And at this point, after 3 weeks in the season, there's only 2,400 left. In other words, 78% of the people who joined the contest to pick one game a week, not against the spread, just to win the game, 75% are out of the contest in 3 weeks. So that should tell you a little bit about what's going on. Last week, we were right on some and we were wrong on some, but the lines move. And if you're paying attention when the lines move, you know what we're talking about ahead of time. So that's what we try to do on this show, is give you that kind of advice. And I think we did fabulous. I'm in a real good mood today, Fred. So let's roll it on out. Some of these games don't matter at all. Some of them do. We have to start the week in London again. 6:30 in the morning Pacific time, which I don't get up and watch, and especially since it's the Atlanta Falcons and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are 3-point favorites. I don't know why they're favored again, but they are in London against the Atlanta Falcons. How do you see it?
I think Trevor Lawrence eventually will wake up. Maybe it'll take him do it in England, United Kingdom. Maybe it'll take
maybe
him
6 years more.
Get it done. By the way, the NFL making more money, of course. It's on ESPN Plus, so you have to ESPN's trying to make money one way or the other. It's only on ESPN Plus. It's, as you indicated, 6:30 Pacific time. Way too early for most of us. I think the Jags will cover, and it's a short number. So let's go with the Jags to finally wake up.
Yeah, I think the Jags will cover too. Last week, I made the mistake of saying it's about time for them to blow out somebody and show how good they are, and they got their ass beat straight up. And that was the consensus pick in the circuit contest for teams that were going to win, not versus the spread, but to win the game outright, and they lost. And the second pick was Dallas, obviously, to win without the spread, and they lost straight up. So that's what decimated the circuit contest, and it couldn't make me any happier because I'm sitting fat. Okay, I mean, I don't have to be 100%. I'm just sitting fat. Okay, let's get on to the next ball game. Back to America. This one will excite everybody, and this one is a game everybody will want to watch. The Dolphins on the road to take on the Bills. I might mention the spread moved from 50 to 53.5 in a big hurry here. There'll probably be a ton of points scored in this game with these two quarterbacks. Buffalo's 3, 2.5, 3. I'm going to tell you right now that all these numbers are going to be right at 3 come game time. So it's going to be a tough week. Fully half of the board will have 3-point spreads come game time. So good luck out there. Pay attention to what we're telling you. Go ahead, Fred.
I don't think Miami will score 70, but I think they'll score 40. I think Buffalo will score 35, something in that range. So if it's 53, 53.5, I'm going over. on this one. And yes, it's a game that everybody will want to watch because Josh Allen, of course, has found his way after the bad game in game one. And what can you say about Miami's offense at this point in time? 728 yards total offense, 70 points, and they could have scored more. So I'm not sure about the point spread, but I think it'll go over the number.
Yeah, it's definitely going to go over the number. And I'm telling you right now, Josh Allen played a tremendous game after that first screw-up game he played. And a matter of fact, the Buffalo Bills looked astounding. They looked astounding on TV. And I can't say that Miami didn't either. And I have to say that I'm the one that said to Tyreek is Hall of Fame every game. And it certainly is every game. And I don't care what Andy Reid says. If he had Tyreek, Kansas City would be unstoppable for sure. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of scoring in this game. The Bills are 3-point favorites here. I don't know. I have to give Miami the doubt and take the points here because if they can score at will and he can throw the ball down the field, at some point, something's got to give here. So I agree with your analysis on the high spread game, and I'm going to take the 3 points here because I just think it's a tough matchup. And we don't know what the weather will be up there either that day. It's in Buffalo. Okay, the next matchup's the Minnesota Vikings and the Carolina Panthers. This one here's another 3-point game. It might drift up to 3.5. The Vikings are 3 on the road to take on the Panthers, who actually played better with Andy Dalton at quarterback last week, but they didn't play good enough. So it looks like they're one of the poor teams in the league. Minnesota, I have to say something about Minnesota because San Diego won that game, but they sure as hell should not have. Within the 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, okay, San Diego's on their own 25-yard line. Fourth down. 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They go for it on fourth down. If they wouldn't have got that fourth down, they would have lost the ball game. And a matter of fact, they didn't get it. Minnesota didn't put it in, so they ain't no good either. I mean, it was a pathetic situation. But how are you going to pick the winner of a game when people do stuff like that? You know, I am so unbelievably shocked by the San Diego coach and some of the other ones, and even the Minnesota coach. What kind of a game did he call? They had every opportunity to score several times, couldn't get the job done, you know? So this is a tough matchup for me, and I'm having a hard time making a play. If it goes to 3.5, I might take Carolina at home as long as Andy Dalton plays. The minute they put their rookie back in, I'm going against them.
I think Brandon Staley, with the win, he saved his job because, as you indicated, that decision in the fourth quarter was outrageous. I don't care. The analytics could not have said to go for it. It's impossible. He was very, very lucky that Minnesota didn't score. So I'm going to take the Vikes here to finally get their first victory. But as far as Brandon Staley of the LA Chargers are concerned, he was very fortunate to be having his job as we're doing this show.
Yeah, I mean, I exactly agree with you. And he's not going to have it very much longer because you can't have somebody like Burrow putting up numbers the way he puts up and have every game be close and maybe lose it. Okay, another one who was very interested, and I'm sorry to say this about your favorite quarterback. The Broncos are on the road, and believe it or not, they're 3-point favorites over the tire-burning Chicago Bears. Okay, you have a crack at that one. Denver's a 3-point favorite over the Bears in Chicago.
Sean Payton will get his first win with Denver. Russell Wilson, again, will throw for 300 yards. And, you know, every week, right now, I think there are 3 undefeated teams. And I think there are 3 winless teams. Justin Fields is not a top-notch quarterback. There has to be dissension in that locker room as far as the Bears are concerned. I think the Denver Broncos will get their first win with Russell Wilson this year, and with Sean Payton, first-year coach, of course, will get the first win. And maybe he'll shut up after the victory. But again, he's beating one or two worst teams in the National Football League in Chicago.
Yes, this is I'm going to be very interested to see this matchup. The line started at 2.5, went to 3.5. Now it's settled at 3, and it's not going to come off a 3, I don't believe. But you know, Denver playing on the road against anybody is a scary situation, but Chicago is so bad. They're a tire fire, as our friend Mr. Robinson in Pennsylvania informed me last week. And I picked a tire fire, but I did it for a reason because I was trying to win the losing side of the games. Okay. So this week, the tire fire is out. The Broncos will win the game, whether they score more than 3.5. I doubt it, but they could win by 3. So I'm going to go with the Broncos. One more game, and then we're going to take another short break. Let's take a look at the Baltimore Ravens and Cleveland Browns. 3-point game, you might know. Baltimore on the road. Cleveland's a 3-point favorite. And I must say, 2 weeks ago, the quarterback for Cleveland, what's his name?
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson played the worst game ever, turned the ball over on the first play of the game for a touchdown, turned the ball over on the last play of the game for a touchdown. And then this last weekend's game, he played like an all-pro. He hit his downfield hits. He was reading everything, and they came out with a win. And not only a win, a big win. They play at home again this week against one of the very best teams in the league, Baltimore, who was hurt very bad last week. Many people were out. 7 starters were out, and they still managed to win their matchup. How do you see this one?
I'm not a fan of anything as far as the Ravens are concerned from the coach on down. So I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns here to win this one. And we'll see what Sean can do 2 games in a row. I just have a hunch that the Cleveland Browns a little bit better than they showed early in the season. And I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to be inconsistent all season long. Again, John Harbaugh, I think, does not get enough criticism for some of their losses. I don't know why. Some coaches get criticism. He doesn't seem to get much. He's getting it here from me. I don't think he's a great coach. I'm going with Cleveland.
Well, it's a touchy situation with all the injuries and everything else, but I'm going to go against you here. The line's 3. I think the best Cleveland could do would push in this game. I'm going to take Baltimore, thinking they can get the ball down the field with a great kicker and possibly win the game. I can't imagine Cleveland playing 2 good games in a row, so I'm going to take Baltimore here. Let's squeeze in one more because it has something to do with it. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road laying 3 against the Houston Texans, who came up with the big win that knocked everybody out of the Survivor contest here in Las Vegas last week. Houston's at home here, but they're still an underdog by 3 points.
You know, again, the Steelers are surprising. Tomlin's getting it done, but they've won in 2 primetime slots. This is not a primetime slot. So you wonder if the guys on the club are not going to be quite as high as they would be if it was a Monday night or a Sunday night affair. Their record on Sunday and Monday night is historical. It's unbelievable. And the Raiders found that out, of course, on Sunday. I have no strong opinion one way or the other on this one. So Fred's going to take a pass.
Well, I'm going to say this about Pittsburgh. They beat the Raiders very good. The quarterback looked better than he should. The Raiders seem to be getting worse and worse, and I can attribute that to Elf McDaniel, the coach. Okay. I mean, he made one of the other screwball moves there ever was when he kicked a field goal with 2 minutes left in the game when they're down on the 25-yard line. They get a touchdown 2-point conversion, they tie it up. He kicks a field goal, the game's over. So everybody should understand what a lousy coach he is, and I can't pick him to win. And that's why Pittsburgh won. It wasn't because Pittsburgh was so great. Now, the Houston team, let me say this, that C.J. Stroud is a damn good freshman quarterback or rookie quarterback, okay? He's one of the better ones I've seen play. Houston is well coached. I believe they're well coached. And I think they may come up with another win in this regard because I agree with you about Pittsburgh. This is their second road game. They're coming off a short week on Monday night, or Sunday night. So it's a short week for them. They're going to go back on the road again. It's not going to be very fair weather in Houston either. It's going to be about 95 degrees and 90% humidity. And that's going to make a difference to those Pittsburgh players by the end of the game there. I'm going to take Houston in a flyer, take the points. Maybe it'll go up to 3.5 by game time. We'll see. We'll take a short break and be back in 1 minute.
Now place your bets. This groundbreaking film details the dramatic rise of legal sports betting in Las Vegas and its growth into a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide. Through in-depth interviews, personal accounts, and vintage footage, we highlight the key elements and milestones that shaped the sports betting industry into what it is today. This history also dovetails with the changing fortunes of Las Vegas as a gambling town at turns overseen by the elements of organized crime, corporate interests, and the U.S. government. Featured prominently in the film are pioneer odds makers and historians who witnessed these events. Today, betting on sports is a popular pastime and a lifestyle choice for many Americans. Its appeal incorporates the innate drive for competition and the rewards of winning. Watch Now Place Your Bets on Amazon Prime and NowPlaceYourBets.com.
Welcome back, everyone. And I sure want to urge all of you to go to NowPlaceYourBets.com and watch the documentary about the history of sports betting in America. This movie or documentary has won multiple film festival awards, and we are very proud of the work we did on that movie. And it's a must-see if you're a football bettor, a sports bettor, or a horse bettor of any kind. So watch NowPlaceYourBets.com. All right, let's get back to the show, and let's take a look at the next game on the board. The Los Angeles Rams and the Indianapolis Colts. They're enigmas, I will say. The Rams started as a 1-point favorite. After this week, the Colts moved to a 1-point favorite. I don't know why. The total's sitting flat on 45. It's basically a pick game. Fred, have at it.
Rams win 5 games last year. Dennis, I think they'd be fortunate to win 5 games this year. I'm leaning toward the Colts. Stafford got sacked, 6 or 7 times on Monday night. And thank God there's no more 2 games on Monday night for the rest of the season, sort of driving me nuts. But anyways, I'm not impressed by the Rams. Kupp is still not back. Nasia, the youngster from BYU, only I think caught 5. Still, he's caught like 30 passes over 3 games, which is remarkable for anybody, a rookie or veteran or any. I don't know what the all-time record is for 3 games, but he's got to be near it. Anyways, I think I'll lean a little bit toward the Colts just because of the home field advantage. And again, I don't think the Rams will win 5 games this season. McVay will resign after the season.
Seriously. Well, I didn't think the Rams were that bad. I didn't think they played that bad. They've been up against the worst of it, playing San Francisco and everything else. I thought they played pretty well. I'm going to go against you here. The Colts being a 1-point favorite, I can't see their rookie quarterback. If he comes back, he's a disaster. Minshew's much better at not turning the ball over and making mistakes. Look, the Rams have a great defense. As long as they got Stafford there and their new wideout, that the Niku or whatever you called him, you know how I am with names, but they look pretty strong at times. And I'm not sure about Indianapolis. I mean, they are definitely one team that I cannot figure out. One team, they're one week they're one way, one week they're the next way. I think they're having some problems trying to work that rookie quarterback in and stuff, and he's coming back from being hurt this week. I look for him to play a little bit, but I don't think he's a pro quarterback. And I think time will tell on that. So that's the reason why I'm going opposite you there and taking the Rams. All right, let's go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. I believe Derek Carr will be out this week. He hurt his shoulder, but is not a drastic injury, but it's an injury such that he needs to rest for a week. So we're going to have the other quarterbacks playing for the New Orleans Saints at home. They're 3-point favorites over a Tampa Bay team that really didn't impress.
Winston will be going. And he's played, certainly he's had his moments. Mayfield and the team, Tampa did not play well on Monday night. I think they're better than that. I'm going to take Tampa Bay and the points in this game, and Baker Mayfield will, I think, play much better than he did on Monday night. So I'm going with Tampa Bay, the Bucs.
One thing on this game, the total dropped from 41 to 39, and I guess it's because one of the reasons is Carr's out and Mayfield can't score that well for the Bucs. It should be a low scoring game. You might want to mark that in your books too. All right, let's move on to the Washington Commanders, or the Washington whatever they are. That's a lousy name. Nobody wants to be commanded by anything out of Washington. So I don't know how they picked that. Anyway, the Eagles are still the best team in the NFL. The line opened at 7, went to 8.5. Washington's the most highly overrated team in the league. Sam, I keep wanting to say Sam Huff, but it ain't Sam Huff. Sam, the quarterback, is no good. Okay? He's another one of these damn quarterbacks that gets all the credit, all the money, and he's no good, period. They got blown out in that game. Everybody in the world was on the opposite side. Everybody took Washington. The line dropped all the way to 4.5 on that game before it started. And then they got blown out by a much, much better team. So I don't think they're going to do anything. I think Philadelphia can name the score here. And the line 8.5 is not near enough. It's going to be 40-10. I take Philadelphia, probably my top pick of the week.
I think Hurts will go crazy, with Tua and him knowing each other well from past experience. Maybe he'll try to score more than 70 in this one. He won't do that, but he'll score. I think he'll score 40. And again, I disagree with Sam Howell. To me, didn't play well last week, but he's had his moments. I saw him play at North Carolina. I think eventually he can be a pretty good quarterback. But in this game, you gotta lean toward the Eagles. And just because I think the Eagles are going to score a lot of points, I think I might also go over with this one, because I think everybody's competitive. Hurts sees 70 points by his former teammate and friend, or maybe not a friend. Anyways, I think Philadelphia will score as many points as they want to score.
I agree, but I don't agree with you about the quarterback, and I don't have all this quarterback love you have for all these immature quarterbacks and these journeyman quarterbacks that have been there getting 40, 50, $60 million a year, while everybody in the trenches beats their head against the wall for these guys to throw interceptions. That guy's never going to be an all-pro quarterback, okay? And nobody from North Carolina will ever be an all-pro quarterback, ever. All right? North Carolina can't recruit. Let's go to the Bengals, Tennessee Titans. Tennessee, Atlanta, all of those teams are all about the same in my book. The Bengals are 2.5-point favorites now on the road. It'll probably be another 3-point game here, because I look for the Bengals to take the money now that they know that the quarterback's back and playing. So the Bengals are 3 on the road at Tennessee. I'll make this one quick. Tennessee can't do it. I'm going to take the Bengals. I think they're back. I think their confidence level came back, and I think they're going to beat them handily in Tennessee.
I agree. I think they're going to win. They're going to cover the spread. And again, in the second half, he played much better than he played in the first half. And they've got the wide receivers. They've got the running backs. I think the Bengals, again, at the end of the year, are going to win 13, 14 games. And even with the 2 losses at the beginning. So I'm going with the Bengals in this one to win easily.
Okay, here's the crappy game of the week. The Raiders at the Chargers. Now, somebody sent me an email saying, quit calling the Chargers San Diego. Okay, well, I'm sorry, people. I have to call them San Diego because they don't fit in Los Angeles, and I don't know what. This game here, the Chargers were 4.5-point favorites until they played a tremendous game and won, and the Las Vegas Raiders has a bozo for a coach and lost the game, even though they had it well in the grasp of an opportunity to play for overtime or even get the ball back with time left if he had just went for the touchdown. I don't think the Raiders, I've changed my entire process of thinking on this. The total went, by the way, from 51 to 48, meaning neither one of these teams are going to score as much as people think they are. I'm going to take the Chargers here to blow out the Raiders. Garoppolo is on concussion protocol. There has not been one person on concussion protocol this year that has come back and played the following week. So I don't think Garoppolo is going to play. And without Garoppolo, they have nothing. I mean, nothing. The Chargers are going to destroy him, Fred. Here's one you're going to be able to be very proud of Herbert, because he's going to put a lot of fantasy points on the board.
Yeah, threw for more than 400 yards last week in the lucky win over Minnesota. He'll throw for 300 or 400 yards in this one too. Hoyer probably will go for the Oakland Raiders against the San Diego Chargers. And folks, I'm kidding. Folks, I'm kidding. I think the LA Chargers will win. Staley saved his job for a time, and they'll win big here. And people will say, see, he's not a horrible coach. Yeah, he is. The Raiders without Jimmy G are not going to be very good. Bottom line, take the Chargers and pick up your money.
Yeah, the Raiders are not near what they're made up to be. And Josh Jacobs, their running back who held out the whole year, he I don't know how he ran for so many yards last year. It was a fluke, people. He'll never do it ever again. He'll probably never, ever be all-pro again. He can pick up some blocks in the backfield, but he's not one of the top running backs in the league. Without Jimmy Garoppolo, they're nothing. But I got to say this about the defense. The defense is bad. They let the defensive end go that intercepted the touchdown the last play of the game last year. They let him go. They tried to run a rookie in there. And then they've got this tattooed circus clown freak. What's his name? Can't think of his name either. I just call him the circus clown tattoo freak. You know, the end that runs around like a crazy man with his head cut off, and he actually disrupts the entire defense from doing their job because he can't stay in his position. So you can all about the ex-crack addict you want, and look at his tattoos and what a hell of a life he's had. But he got to be all-pro once. Josh Jacobs got to be all-pro once, but that all went away when Elf McDaniel came in to coach. They're not going to be anything, and the Raiders will be lucky to win a couple of more games this year. So I'm down on them just like you're down on the team you said, the Rams, the same way. I can't see the Raiders beating hardly anybody. Sorry, Raiders. We're both going with the Chargers to blow you out. And listen, Tattoo Man, if I see you in a bar, I'm going to call you Tattoo Man anyway. All right? I can't think of your name, so that's who you are. All right, I hate to get mean with these guys, but sometimes it comes back out of me. Wish I could put on the helmet again. Let's go on to the New England Patriots Dallas Cowboys matchup. The mighty Cowboys have fallen, and I hate to be the one to rub it in your skin again, Fred, but here's that Dak quarterback, that great, fantastic quarterback that's back and going to take them to the Super Bowl again this year. He can't even beat the worst team in the league. Not only that, he couldn't even come close to beating the worst team in the league. So now we'll have to say Arizona's not the worst team in the league. Because like I said before last week's game, their defense is fast and all over the field, and it slows down the other team's offenses. And that's what they did. And how about Dobbs at quarterback? What do they got all these other quarterbacks out here getting all this money for? Looks to me like Dobbs is the best one of the bunch. And that being said, that means I'm going to take New England plus the points here. I'm going to give Belichick some coaching credit. I know that he can shut down Dak Prescott, and that's why I'm going to take the 7 or hopefully 7.5 by game time and take the New England Patriots.
My best bet of the week is the Cowboys here. I think Zach Jones of the Patriots has not shown me much the last couple of seasons. I'm not sure he ever will. I don't think it was all on Prescott. I think the defense, obviously, how many points they give up to Arizona, that's not necessarily on Prescott.
500 yards they gave up too. So
I'll take the Cowboys minus the 8, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think that I'm thinking it's too many points there. I think Belichick will keep this thing close, and I don't think the Cowboys can score like everybody thinks. And their defense, they can be ran on. So that's all Belichick has to do is run the ball. Okay, let's go on to the Arizona Cardinals we just finished talking about against the other team in the league who's probably equal to or better than the Buffaloes and the Miamis, and that's San Francisco 49ers. They are very, very good. They're very, very well coached. They have talent at all the right positions, and the quarterback astounds me. But I followed that guy's career all through Iowa State, too, and he was an excellent quarterback. And anybody that drafts him last in the draft and all these other yo-yos that are playing can certainly see that he was better than all of the ones that were drafted before him. So the 49ers are on a roll. They're going to kill Arizona. Arizona has to go away from home now. The speed's going to hurt Arizona here because San Francisco has more of it. Okay. And they have more people that can beat them at that. This is going to be a blowout, folks. This is going to be a killer game. San Francisco win 35-3, 35-14, maybe even 42-14. Taking the 49ers in this one, Fred.
No, I can't disagree with anything. The 49ers, I think Aliuk might be back this week, maybe not, but doesn't matter. They have so many weapons that it's almost beyond belief. The trade last year for McCaffrey, of course, has worked out fantastically well for San Fran. They'll win by as many as they want. But let me just say something about Arizona. I saw quarterback Dobbs play at Tennessee, and I remember this probably 6-7 years ago. I remember this like yesterday. The broadcaster indicated that he had a 4.0 grade point average. Get this, aeronautical engineering. So he's no dummy. So all I'm saying is, Kyler Murray's not back yet.
That's a big part of it.
So, but you can say a lot about Dobbs. Maybe they'll again lose by 3 touchdowns here. But brain power wise, the guy's got a 4.0 in aeronautical engineering. Many athletes really don't even go to class. The guy's sort of the opposite to that. He's won awards. So Murray or no Murray, obviously San Francisco's going to win the game. I just wanted to say that, when you're doing these kind of shows, sometimes you knock people. I just wanted to get that in, that you have a very bright quarterback in Arizona.
That's good. It's good to know, man. They have to be able to read the line of scrimmage and think on the go, quarterbacks, and half of them can't do that. So that's certainly good to know. All right, another one of the great teams in the league, the Kansas City Chiefs, are on the road playing the hapless New York Jets, who insist on sticking with their quarterback, Zach Wilson. And Kansas City goes into this one 9.5-point favorite on the road. They are clicking on all cylinders. I mean, even Taylor Swift loves the Kansas City Chiefs. So Kansas City cannot lose here. All right. 10 is not too small a number to lay. And this one, Fred, I'm taking Kansas City.
The Jets picked up Trevor Siemian, the kid from Northwestern, who's had his moments. And maybe they'll make the switch. Maybe not. Who knows? It depends on how Zach Wilson
Probably
plays.
not this game, though.
Probably not this game. I think Kansas City will win by double digits.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. All right, real quick here. The last game on the board is our Monday night matchups. Thankfully, a singular one. Seattle was a 1.5-point favorite last week. After the games this week, the Giants moved to a 1-point home favorite here. And I guess Danny Dimes is going to get a lot of credit or something in this one, because I don't see it. All right. I mean, this game is a pick, a toss-up to me. I don't have any opinion on this game except for one thing. It's going to go over. Now, that sounds weird, but it's going to go over. The total on this matchup's opened at 45 or 44.5. It's 47 now. So I've seen syndicates dump tons of money on the over in this game, and I believe they're correct on it. There's going to be a lot of scoring in this matchup. That being said, I have to take the New York Giants because of Mr. Robinson back east. He's our biggest fan, and that's his hometown, or not his home team, but that's his favorite team. And I have to believe that he likes the Giants in this spot, and I'm going to go along with our fan and take the Giants myself.
I think Geno Smith will throw 3 or 4 touchdown passes. The only advantage I see the Giants having, besides home field advantage, would be to get the extra 4 days because they played the Thursday night of 10 days ago. So they've got the extra 3 days, I guess, of rest. But bottom line is, did you see them against the 49ers 10 days ago?
Yeah, I don't think they're any good. And I'm not really sold on Danny Dimes. I just think it's a situational game here, and they go clear across the country for Monday night. Somehow, some way, the league's going to see to it the Giants win.
We'll see. I'll take Seattle as one of my best bets of the week.
Okay. Well, we ended that one on a cross section. We're going to be right back, folks, with our top pick for week number 5 for you. And then we're going to sign off until October 12th. So mark it on your calendar. We'll be right back in 1 minute. Listen up, football fans. For this week's best bets, call us at 1-888-604-6863. That's 1-888-604-6863. Be a winner 888-604-6863. Welcome back to Football Forecast Weekly, everyone. I'm here with Mr. Fred Wallen, and we're going to give you a pick that we love for Week 5 in the NFL. Now, Week 5 is a couple weeks away, so you need to listen up close and write this one down. The game Fred's picked out for you is the Philadelphia Eagles at the LA Rams. The line is about Philadelphia 6.5, and without many injuries or anything, that's about where it will fall. At least, Fred, you can give us an analysis and who your pick is.
No matter what happens in week 4, the Rams have no shot against Philadelphia. If it's in Los Angeles, if it's in Philadelphia, if it's on the moon, I don't care where it's being played. The Rams have no shot. One more time, McVay is going to quit at the end of the season. They're going to be lucky to get 5 wins. On the other side of it, Philadelphia is going to be unfortunate to lose more than one or two all season long. Philadelphia will score at will. The Rams' offensive line is no good. It's impossible. Stafford again got sacked, 6-7 times on Monday night. He's going to get sacked by the Philly defensive line. So take Philadelphia. That number jumps to 10. You know my rule. I won't wager over 10, but if it jumps to 9.5, I would take Philadelphia against the Rams. That's how sure I am. Eagles are going to win.
I love it. And I'm marking that one down for damn sure. So everybody out there in the audience better mark it down. You don't often hear Fred come out of the woodwork on something strong like that. I'm taking Philly too. Okay, the game that I picked out for you was the Jaguars at the Bills. Now, opening lines indicate it's going to be 3.5 and 4, but it's not. It's going to be more in the lines of 7.5 or 8, maybe even 9. The Bills are at home. The Jaguars are coming back from London. Okay, get up. Just feature this. Get on the plane, go to London, play a game. Get on the plane, go back to Jacksonville, rest for a day or two, and then get on the plane again and go up there and play one of the best teams in the league on their home field who's playing prime football right now. If this line comes out 3.5, 4, or 5, I'm going to bet $10,000 on it. Now, I know it's not going to come out like that because everybody will crack on it the minute it does, if it does. The line's going to be 7, 7.5, or 8, but you can go ahead and lay that number on the Bills. So we've got 2 powerful favorites for you for Week 5. Fred's going with Philadelphia. I'm going with Buffalo. Mark it down, Week 5. Our Week 4 is in the can on this show. We'll have back again on October 12th. That's right, October 12th on this very station, same time, same place, October 12th for Football Forecast Weekly. Until then, goodbye and good luck.